What up? What up? We should be live on both YouTube and Twitch simultaneously. Should be vertically on YouTube and should be horizontally on Twitch. I need to pull it up real quick because I want to see how my audio sounds. So let me just do that real quick. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good enough anyway. Anyway, what's up? So today we're going to be doing a movie stream catch up because it's been a little while since I've talked to y'all about movies or done any videos or anything like that. So there's quite a bit to go over. And then a movie collection update. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. I figured before we get started on this, I should probably give like a little bit of an update. What's up, Robbie? My lotion is ready. What's going on, man? Um, a little bit of an update. I haven't uploaded anything in several months, and I have reasons to why I haven't been. Number one is my third feature film and my documentary on my grandparents is finished. I wanted to work to get that finished. So I kind of, put that as a priority, worked on that like crazy. And at the end of August, we did have a showing of it. We had a small private showing, and the reception was really warm, and it made me feel pretty good. And so I'm excited to hopefully eventually share that with everybody else. It's going to be sometime next year because we decided to try and submit the film to film festivals. I don't have a lot of hope that it's going to get into festivals, but I wanted to at least try. So we'll probably have to wait till we hear back from them before anything, before we upload anything. Outside of that, after that, I did take a little bit of a break. I've been doing a lot of stuff around the house. I've been doing a lot of stuff. Personally, you have seen it, Robbie. Um, Chat is popping up. Okay, it's popping up on Twitch. This is my first time trying to do like dual stream, so I'm like, is it all working? If you want the horizontal stream, Twitch. If you want the vertical stream, anyway. So I've been doing some stuff like that around the house. And then on top of that, I have been working on videos behind the scenes. I've been working on 31 for 31, but I've also been working on a couple bigger videos here and there and some screen to consoles. So I'm hoping to have a couple of screen to consoles here in the future. But I figured we should get caught up on some movies. I want to make bigger videos, so I'll probably actually like slack off on doing movie reviews as much as I have been and kind of doing like something like this, maybe like once a month, and just kind of go over every movie that I had seen in the month. Just because I do work a full time job, so between doing YouTube and a full time job, I'm very limited on my time. And I would rather work on these bigger videos that are funner to make, that are funner to watch, than just doing movie reviews and kind of saving movie reviews for something like this. And maybe, fingers crossed, one day in the future, I could do this as a job and then I will go back to doing like regular movie reviews and stuff like that. Plus, honestly, if I did this as a full-time job, I would honestly try to go see most everything in theaters. Anyway, we're just going to go through. The last time I did a movie update was what I watched in May. So we're just going to go through up till I'm not going to talk about November. So first thing was Lilo and Stitch. It's a 9 out of 10 for me, dog. Love Lilo and Stitch. There's a screen to console coming soonish. It's going to be one of the next episodes. Are you going to talk about Memoirs of a Snail? I don't think so, because I think that was technically November, so I'll probably save that for next week. But I will say, if anybody has not seen Memoir of a Snail, it's one of my favorite movies of 2024. I think it's fantastic. Highly, 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 highly recommend it. But yeah, Lilo and Stitch is going to be a screen to console coming here soon. I have one screen to console I really want to get out for Christmas before December, like around like Thanksgiving. But it'll be coming very soon. The script to this is done. Despicable Me, I did for a screen to console. You can check that out. That video popped off like crazy. Thank you if you watched that. That video is a lot of fun to make. Despicable Me is like a 6 out of 10. Pretty good. Wonka from 2023 is horrendous. This movie was absolutely terrible. Had none of the charm or personality that the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory had. And also, it's directed by, what's the person's name? It's the guy who did Paddington 1 and 2. Well, that's just my review. No, I want to see the film. Yeah, Paul King, who did Paddington 1 and 2, which are both fantastic movies. Super recommend those. But Wonka, just like, I could tell they were trying to go for some of that Paddington charm, and it just did not work. Timothy Chalamet was okay. Hugh Grant was honestly pretty terrible. The whole Oompa Loompa angle for this movie was really terrible. But the part that really, really sucked for this was the music. The music in this movie is horrendous. The musical tunes are terrible. And the only time there's any kind of glimpse of like, oh, I kind of like this song, I realized, oh, it's just like a remix or a riff of the original score. So Wonka was terrible. I'm glad I got to put together a Lego bonsai tree while watching it because it was abysmal. Destroy All Neighbors was a ton of fun. This is a movie that's on Shudder or AMC Plus, depending on what you have. Sorry, I need some go juice this morning. I am exhausted. I gave this movie a 7 out of 10. It's a really fun, like, horror comedy, kind of, kind of leans into like the absurdity. Basically, this guy, his neighbor, he's trying to record his perfect prog rock album, right? And his neighbor that moves in is really who plays he's Bill, right? I can't remember. I always get him and Keanu mixed up for who's Bill and Ted from Bill and Ted. But he plays the non-Keanu Bill and Ted. I'm pretty sure it's Bill. I'm pretty sure Keanu's Ted. But he's the neighbor, and in an accident, he accidentally kills the neighbor, but the neighbor's disembodied head, kind of torments him in a way, and it's very comical, very over the top, and a total blast. Destroy All Neighbors was a sleeper, did not expect. I agree. Also, why is chat... Hold on. The chat's like, it popped up on the screen like once, but it hasn't since. Why is that? Um, oh, is that why? Did it go away really quick? Hey, can someone type in chat real quick? Just do like a test for me. I want to see if it pops up and stays up for a while. I don't mind if it goes away eventually. I just want to see if it... I think that's what the thing was. It was set to like disappear real quick. Anyway, yeah, Destroy All Neighbors is a lot of fun. It's on... I picked it up on DVD. We'll talk about it in a minute. A huge hit for me, honestly, one of my favorite horror movies of the year. Stop motion. Test. Okay, cool. Well, we'll see if it holds up as long. I set the duration to the max. I like to leave chat up on screen as long as possible. Thank you, Autumn. Stop motion was awesome. I love really like cerebral horror. This is a movie about a stop animator who's is the daughter of like a legacy stop motion animator who was like really well known, and she's trying to live up to that expectation, but she doesn't really have any original ideas of herself, and so her stop motion movie she's trying to finish for her mother because of her mother's ailments morphs into the horror of the movie, and it's awesome. It uses a lot of stop motion to add really the kind of this like level of interesting horror and some really cool moments. I can't remember how to say her first name without looking it up, but Aisling Francois, I think, potentially. She is awesome. She's fantastic in this movie. She was also in The Nightingale, where she's also fantastic, but it's an 8 out of 10 for me, dog. It's on Shudder, and AMC Plus. If I say it's on Shudder, it's on AMC Plus. If I say it's on AMC Plus, it's probably on Shudder because AMC Plus owns Shudder, which to me is probably the best streaming platform right now. The stop motion was great. So we're gonna get into some things that I've covered for 31 for 31. So I'm just gonna glance over them. Pandorum is part of 31 for 31. If you don't know what 31 for 31 is, it is something I do every year in my channel where I take 31 movies out of my movie collection I haven't seen. They get random number generated from the movies I haven't seen to get picked. And then I watch those movies and review them. So in December, from December 1st to December 31st, there will be a new episode every day. And I'll be talking about these movies there. So I'm going to just kind of go over them. Pandorum was kind of cool. So Fayadéhi, Hyderat, Heroine, and He Who Dances on Wood is a these are all short films. I've talked about these along with Floating Weeds and A Story of Floating Weeds in my last Criterion shopping video, collection video, whatever, where I went out to go to find some blind buys. Fayadéhi is a really cool documentary that has a lot of like surrealist tones to it about the production of Cat and its like kind of its destruction of its regional area. Really cool, worth checking out. And then Hyderat, Heroine, and He Who Dances on Wood are other short films by Jessica Bashir. I'm pretty sure that's her name. Yeah, Jessica Bashir. Hyderat was awesome. Heroine was the weaker of the bunch, and He Who Dances on Wood was pretty cool. Hyderat being about a man who goes out and feeds hyenas, so the hyenas will quit attacking their livestock. Heroine is about a painter who keeps painting the same person over and over and over again. And He Who Dances on Wood is about a man who dances on wood. A Story of Floating Weed and Floating Weeds is directed by, I'm pretty sure the last name's Ozu. Yeah, Yasujiro Ozu. I'm probably saying that wrong. Yasujiro Ozu? I don't know. Yeah, so A Story of Floating Weeds is a silent film. I liked it better than A Floating Weeds. He remade the film as Floating Weeds. Personally, I like A Story of Floating Weeds better, but they're both pretty solid. I would definitely recommend both, but I would really recommend A Story of Floating Weeds. Basically, it's about this acting troupe moving into town, and they're playing at this town for a specific reason we learn about later. You kind of learn about the head troupe and his like own like emotional and personal damage and trauma and how that kind of affects everybody else. And it's really good. It's a really great silent film, and the remade version with dialogue and in color is also pretty good. I just thought this one was better, and I thought the pacing was better. Kinds of Kindness, I did a review on this. We are going to get into some of them I did reviews on. But I did a review on this. I like Kinds of Kindness quite a bit. I would like to see it again. Maxine, I also did a review on, so you can go check those out. Maxine was awesome. It's my favorite of Ty West's X trilogy. I don't know what the trilogy is actually called, but I think each one of them got better. I think X is my least favorite, Pearl is my second, Maxine being my favorite. X-Men Origins Wolverine, I did a screen to console on this. I think it's one of the best screen to consoles I've done so far, so definitely check that out. It's one of my more recent videos, or at least one of my more recently uploaded videos, I should say. But yeah, it's the movie's terrible. The game is great. I mean, I talk about it there. In Time and How from Beyond the Fog, both of these are for 31 for 31. Long Legs is, I believe I did a short review on this, and I don't believe I did anything else. Really good horror movie from this year with Nicolas Cage. I like that it's not so much a horror movie as it is like a dark mystery. That does keep you guessing, and it kept me guessing throughout the whole thing. I really want to pick it up and watch it again, but I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for right now. My buddy Dylan England, if you've not checked out his YouTube channel, go check him out. Excuse me. He was super hyped for this movie, like to the point to where it was like there's no way any film on the face of the planet could live up to it. And I remember him texting me like, "Dude, man, I saw it back to back, and I saw it twice back to back, and it just didn't live up to my expectations." And I'm like, "Dude, there was no way, there was no way it was gonna live up to it, man." I loved it, but also Silent Rob Stop Motion, who popped up in chat. Go check out his channel as well. He does a bunch of stop motion animations that are really cool. He's a personal friend. I've known him for years. got to know him better through YouTube, funny enough, but known him for years, and he streams a bunch too, so check him out as well. Cure, I picked up on the Criterion Collection. This movie was awesome. It is, who's it directed by? Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Yeah. Which, one of his more recent movies, Dylan was actually telling me I need to watch, which was Chime. Anyway, Cure was awesome. This movie was fantastic. It is a like murder mystery movie where a detective is trying to solve this like stream of gruesome murders. Yeah, no problem, dude. This stream of like gruesome murders that is like going through Tokyo. And what I like about it is, one, some of the murders are very brutal, like very brutal. But for two is the film is beautifully shot. It has amazing cinematography. The lead, the Koji, yeah, Koji Yakushuo, was fantastic. You may recognize him from other movies like Memoirs of a Geisha, 13 Assassins, World of Kaneko. These are the movies I recognize him from. Harakiri remake. Um, I thought there was something else that he was in that I saw not too long ago. He's in The Admiral, which is good. Maybe I'm just thinking of the poster from Past Lives because Perfect Days. I mean, I always want to keep calling this Past Lives. It's not what it is. Anyway, great actor. He was great in the lead here. Super recommend Cure. Kill, I did a short review of. Really cool, Bollywood John Wick, basically. This was a movie that when I went and saw it in theaters, I was like halfway through the movie. I wouldn't even say halfway, maybe a quarter way through the movie, being like, this movie's terrible. Like, this is really bad. It's super cheesy. It's really lame. Some of the hand to hand combat's been okay. But then the film takes this turn where I don't want to go into any spoilers, but there's like one scene that happens. I was like, holy shit, they had the balls to do that. And from there on out, the movie is fucking awesome. From there on out, Kill is sick. Super recommend that. The Beekeeper. I'm Jaden Statham. Beekeeper. It was lame. David Ayer is a hack. Sorry. He had one good movie. Well, two. He had two good movies. Everything else has sucked. Fury is a masterpiece. End of Watch is really solid, and everything else has kind of sucked. The Beekeeper keeps that trend, although I would say it was better than the Tax Collector and Suicide Squad that he did, but Beekeeper's not great. Basically, Jaden Statham is a beekeeper, literally and figuratively, because beekeepers are the organization that keeps everybody in check. One of those kind of things. And this is basically John Wick meets B movie. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. I give it a 4 out of 10. It has like some fun action, but action can't handle action. I misspelled it. I rate these on the toilet most of the time. But yeah, Beekeeper sucks. Don't recommend it. Twister. Here's a Twister. This was a movie my wife wanted me to watch for a long time, and holy fuck have I slept on this movie. What was that, Lynn? I dropped me chapstick. This was a movie I feel like I've just slept on for a long time. I also picked this up on Blu-ray. I haven't seen Twisters yet, but the original Twister was just a ton of fun. This isn't like an amazing movie. It's not like the greatest movie ever made, but it is a super duper fun popcorn movie that I would definitely recommend. It's very cheesy, very dated special effects, but it's like a perfect blockbuster. I mean, honestly, I said it in my little review, and I agree with it. The pacing's amazing, great cast, great characters, you know. But I like that it literally it's like nonstop. It's just a really fun movie. When the Sun Goes Down on Annie's Trail. This is a movie directed by Dylan Englund and Eric Maloney. I was like, I know Eric's first name, but what's his last name? Yeah, I guess like going forward, I need to be like a little bit more like, hey, I know Dylan. I'm really close. I'm good friends with Dylan. God damn, I can't. I'm getting like this patch in the back of my throat. You know what I mean? That like, hey, I'm good friends with Dylan, so anything I say about his films, you should take with a grain of salt. Although, hey, his feature film Pesadilla, is available to stream on Amazon. So I mean, I think you got to rent it. I think you got to rent or buy it, but it's available on Amazon Prime, so check it out. But yeah, this is a short film they did. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well shot. Another short film by Dylan was Rocky Top. I hope my dude makes this into a feature film because conceptually, I think this is one of his best ideas. Mike Davis, by the way, is an amazing actor. I've seen him in a couple of things Dylan's done, and he's awesome every time he's been in there. And so is Gus, by the way. Augustine Driscoll, who also frequently collaborates with Dylan and Nikki. Is it Capaldi or Capadilla? I can't remember how to say his last name. But Nikki's also good. But yeah, I hope Dylan makes Rocky Top into a feature film. Really cool. It's available on YouTube. Really cool. It's available on his YouTube. Set up for a feature film. 2001 Space Odyssey, I gave 6 out of 10 to. Saw it in 70 millimeter 4K restoration. But I was a little disappointed in the film. It's part of 31 for 31, so I'll go a little bit further into details there. But I was pretty disappointed in 2001. The last thing of July, I didn't realize we was in July, was Fall. This movie's terrible. It's super predictable. Why did I say 6 out of 10? That just must have been like autopilot mode. Anyway, 2 out of 10. Let's fix that. Basically, these two characters decide they're like rock climber, like free base climbers. Oh, they're not free base because they have like safety stuff, but they're like rock climbers and stuff. The one's like husband, or yeah, I'm pretty sure husband. When they're out climbing together, he falls to his death because he went. Would he go free or did he have a safety fail? I can't remember. I can't remember if he like free climbed and fell or if he had like a safety equipment fail, then fall. But regardless, years go by. Her friend shows back up. It's like, hi, bitch, let's go climbing. And she's like, bet. And then they climb up this tower, and then they get stuck on the tower, and then that's the entire movie. And it's so predictable. Like even the big plot twist was like super predictable. It's so boring, and the characters only in the situation because they're so dumb. I don't understand how they exist in society. Like I don't know how they live. I don't know how they're so stupid of characters. I don't understand how they can survive without caretakers. He went free because she had an anchor issue, I think. Oh, I think you're right. Fall made my hand sweaty. Oh, you liked Fall, dude? Sorry to rib on it so hard. I hated it. I was just like seething the entire time of just being like, this would even happen if these characters weren't stupid. And then like the whole plot twist, I was just like, The Boy and the Heron is Studio Ghibli's newest movie and Miyazaki's newest film. Miyazaki's doing this like Rolling Stone thing where he's like, I'm gonna retire, and then he's like, new tour. You know what I mean? But The Boy and the Heron's really good. It's not my all-time favorite Miyazaki. I definitely feel like it takes a little while for it to find its footing. But it's kind of like just kind of a cozy film. The animation, first off, is beautiful. I didn't love it, but but I have a fear of heights, so that part made me nervous. I have a huge fear of heights, but I didn't believe they were up high. Every time I saw them on the platform, I was like, okay, well, all this is CG'd, or like this is like nowhere near the height it is, and they're clearly like on some kind of like sound stage. I wouldn't even know if sound stage was their word, but they're on like a built prop. But I could be wrong. They could have been on a tower. Who knows? But considering how bad some of the green screen is, I doubt it. But yeah, so Boy and the Heron, basically. I'm trying to remember the actual setup. Yeah, okay. His mother dies, and he's now with his father, who's remarrying, and they move out into this like house where this heron keeps showing up and was like, "Hey, boy, follow me." And then they go into this mysterious castle, and that transports him into like a whole new world, and he's got to like traverse this new world, and the heron kind of gets teamed up with him. Even though the heron's kind of mischievous, kind of Loki-ish. But great character design, great world design, great animation, really enjoyable, and kind of just like if you like Studio Ghibli movies, like you'll like this. Aguirre, The Wrath of God, one of Werner Herzog's movies, one of his most famous movies. Movie I've always wanted to see, and the Gateway Film Center was showing a 4K restoration of it. So I was like, hell yeah. We went up and seen it, and this movie was really cool, but there are some extended periods of downtime. So first off, I love the opening of this film. It's fucking awesome. The music in the throughout the film is really good. Klaus Kaczynski, who plays Aguirre, is honestly great. It's an amazing performance. Absolutely amazing performance. There's some awesome cinematography. Very like proto Lars von Trier-esque type of cinematography. But basically, this group, these conquistadors go out to find El Dorado, and through trying to find El Dorado, there's mutiny and a play for power and just corruption and greed and violence, and it's good. However, there's just a couple of sections that really broke down the pacing for me to the point to where I was like, all right, can we kind of move on to the next thing? Like, holy fuck, like why are we still here? You know? But overall, I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10, and I am excited to see it again because I'm definitely curious to see how a second viewing works for me. The 4K restoration at Gateway was awesome. I'll have to check that one out. The Boy and the Heron, yeah, Rob, I think you'll like it. That's why I like Meg, My Fear of the Ocean. Makes it much better. Meg's fun though. Meg's a fun like blockbuster, like goofy movie too. But yeah, Wrath of God is really cool, and I am excited to see again. I will say though, like I said, I'm not a fan of how they treated some of the animals in the movie. They were a little cruel to many animals throughout the movie, but also this movie just straight up puts the actors in like super dangerous like predicaments. That was like kind of crazy to see. Moving on, we have The Return by Andrei Zanyeganstev. I think I'm saying that right. This is the director of Leviathan. That I gave a 9 out of 10 to, and I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10 to. This is probably one of the strongest directorial debuts I've ever seen in my life, period. I still think about this movie. I watched this thing back in August 15th, and I still think about this movie. This is a movie where mysteriously one day these two brothers, father just comes home, and they're like, oh, okay. And the father decides that, hey, I'm home, we're gonna go on a trip. But the thing is like these boys are playing and having fun. I say having fun, they kind of get picked on a little bit. Well, the one kind of gets picked on a little bit, and they go home, and the mom's like, your father's home. And they're like, oh shit. And you're like instantly like, okay, what's up with his dad? You know what I mean? Like the dad, like the whole environment of introducing the dad just kind of turns the tone sour, and you're just like, what's going on here? And yeah, I was gripped from the moment it started to the moment it ended. It's beautifully shot. It's a very small, self-contained film, but it feels super large because the film is constantly moving and presenting so many themes with rich characters. These are two great lead child performances as well. Yeah, it's just super good. It is a perfect tonal piece. Andrei Zanyeganstev really knows his tone and how to capture that tone really, really well. Super, super recommend The Return. Then I know what the next movie is because I doubled them. La Haine. This was a movie during the July Criterion sale. My buddy was like, hey, you would love this movie. And he was right. This movie, hold on, I like my review for this because I felt really sophisticated writing this one, all right? I was really pompous. Told in living color and presented in black and white. Lahane feels like a powder keg waiting to blow up at any second as the film follows three friends in a French ghetto the day after a riot that leaves a friend in critical condition. Yeah, I mean, this movie is cool. It's got a lot of angst, a lot of energy. Holy smokes! Um, Vincent Castle's in the movie. His character vows revenge if his friend dies. Basically, he's going to go kill a cop if his friend dies. And through the entire movie, you just feel this rage and this energy and this tension just bubble and bubble and bubble and bubble as it just goes through. And you're just like, I don't know. For me, I just kept sitting there like, holy shit! Like, what's going to happen? You never know, like, what's really going to end up happening. Really good. I gave it an 8 out of 10 for the first viewing. I definitely want to watch this one again. Autumn, if you're still watching this, I think you would like this movie a lot. Like, we should probably actually watch this movie together. I think you would enjoy it quite a bit. Next up was Alien Romulus. This one was fun because the theater I saw it in had a blown out speakers. So all the dialogue was only coming through the center channel, and the center channel was blown out. Rock, what's up? Where can I stream this movie? Lahane? Let's find out. Little trick, if you go on imdb.com and you type in any movie you want, it will tell you down here what streaming service it's on. So it looks like it's only available for rent on Prime right now. Anyway, Alien Romulus, which I wanted to keep that open actually, was Moke. But I will say it was kind of funny that was blown out. My thing with like Alien Romulus was, one, I thought the ending was really stupid. I thought some of the CG was kind of bad. Although I do like some of the puppetry they used. The xenomorphs were cool. But like my thing was like the xenomorphs felt like a backseat driver to this movie. You know what I mean? They really didn't feel like, and I don't mean like xenomorphs should be anything, but like there's so many xenomorphs in the movie and none of them really do like that much. And so the xenomorphs feel more like props than anything else. Except IMDb will not tell you if it's on Disney. Oh, that's true. IMDb does not tell you if it's on Disney Plus. Well, actually, Letterboxd. Yeah, Letterboxd shows you what's streaming too. So hold on. I doubt this movie's on IMDb. I forgot Letterboxd does too. So if you go on Letterboxd, you can stream on the Criterion channel if you have the Criterion channel. But then it has where you can rent and stuff. I forgot that Letterboxd does as well. Anyway. Yeah, Alien Romulus, I'm giving it a 5.5 out of 10. I don't really care to watch it again. I think it's better than Covenant, but I still think it's one of the weaker Alien movies. Despite some decent moments. But there's something in the water. There's something in the water. That made me laugh at the trailer, and it made me laugh in the movie theater. It's like all serious and tense, and there's like tense. I can't remember if there's really any music going on. I don't think there is, but you know the face huggers like in the water, and there's something in the water. I can't take it serious, man. I can't. Solaris. I watched this because I've been wanting to get into more of Andrei Tarkovsky's films. And my buddy, when we left the screening of 2001 and I said I wasn't like super in love with it, he goes, now I really got to know what you think of Solaris. Cause he was like, I think you're going to hate Solaris. Wrong. I love Solaris. I thought this movie was great. I really enjoyed Solaris. So he's wrong about that one. No, yeah, Solaris was really cool. Really enjoyed it. It is about I'm pretty sure he's like a therapist, ain't he? Who gets sent into the space station. Yeah, psychologist. Chris, psychologist. He's sent to a space station where he's to evaluate the 3 crew members there. And upon arriving, he finds one of them dead, and Chris's dead wife has returned to him. Basically, on Solaris, you know, they're all around the planet Solaris. There's like this superstition that they can make your wish come true, or like your dreams come true. Obviously, you know, he cares about his dead wife. And there's like explorations of grief, kind of like mental disorders and other like things of depression. It's kind of heavy. There's a lot you can kind of evaluate from each one of the cast members. It's pretty small considering there's only several cast members, but these sets are really well done. Very, very cool looking. Where 2001 is a very clean and sleek look. The space station Solaris is kind of gross and like unkept, and that adds a lot to it. And it's beautifully shot. And I need to watch more Andrei Tarkovsky movies. I gave it 8 out of 10 on the first one. Huge surprise for me was Arcanian. This is a movie that I believe is on Shudder or AMC Plus. Let's find out. AMC Plus or Shudder. This is a movie with Nicolas Cage set during the apocalypse, where these mysterious monsters that attack, and so they have to like board up their house. And this is a wickedly fun popcorn movie. What's up, Tomster? Tomster, I recognize that name. This is a really fun monster movie. Nick Cage gives a good performance, but I think the two backing actors also do a really good job. But the monster design in this movie is sick. It's actually like really creepy monsters, and they're used very effectively. The ending of this movie is fantastic, and yeah, just really loved it. I thought this was a really great like popcorn monster movie that I feel like is fairly underrated. I mean, you know, people I follow haven't rated this super duper highly. Not quite like I did, but I genuinely really loved it. So, Arcanian. 2, this is Dylan England's short film that's now available on YouTube. I've seen this a handful of times. I actually reviewed it here because I went to the film festival it was playing at, the Big Sandy Film Festival in Kentucky. It's like a 2.5 hour drive. My buddy's movie ended up getting played there, and it was like $10 for a day ticket or something like that. I know it was $20. It was $20 for a day ticket. So me and my other buddy decided to hop down, and we spent the entire day at the film festival, and it was a lot of fun. Saw a good amount of really cool short films and 2 kind of middling feature films that I'll talk about probably here in a minute as well. Yep. Within the Walls was one of the 2 feature films. So the day we went on Saturday. The film festival was on Saturday and Sunday. No, it was Friday and Saturday. We went on Friday because I forgot I had to take the day off. So Friday was all the short films and 2 feature films, and then Saturday was all the rest of the feature films. Most of the short films are not available on Letterboxd to rate. But this, yeah. 2 was one of the best short films. I mean, biases set aside. And then there was one, let me see if I can find it on IMDb, because I think this movie is 100% worth recommending if you can find it to watch it. But my IMDb is basically the same thing. It should be around here somewhere. Yeah, As Easy as Closing Your Eyes. This was a really cool sci-fi short film about basically drug abuse and using it to get over grief. Layered heavily with really cool sci-fi. It was beautifully shot, well performed, really great plot twist. Super recommend this. If you can come across finding this somewhere, As Easy as Closing Your Eyes, super recommend it. And Parker Croft, I definitely will keep an eye out for what he does next. Just add both of those. Any Bedoozle. This was the first feature film of the night. It was super bad. Happy I could stop by and say hello. Oh, yeah, thanks. Sorry, Laura, I can't stay. Gotta go get ready for school. Yeah, no worries, Tomsters. Thanks for stopping by. I'm terrible at reading chat. That's something I gotta get used to. But thanks for stopping by, Tomsters. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in Robbie's chat later. But yeah, this film was really bad. It was clearly heavily inspired by Old Boy. It is so goddamn long, and it is really repetitive. And every scene is basically rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. The acting's terrible. The cinematography's terrible. This one was just super hard to sit through. Like, I was so ready for this one to be over. The other feature film on the night was Brittany Lost Her Phone, which was really enjoyable. but I think it needs to be like a 45-minute short film. Basically, this is set during the Wild West when a family discovers a smartphone. So this is not like, oh yeah, this is like modern time. Now this is like Wild Wild West 1800s, and they find a smartphone and they can talk to, like Siri and stuff, and it tells them answers and things like that. It has a lot of really funny moments. It's a really good setup, and it all works really well. Except for the film is just too long. It kind of overstays its welcome by a lot. This is like an hour and 45-minute film that really should have been like 40 minutes. If this was a 40-minute film, it'd probably be like an 8 out of 10, like no joke. There was some really funny stuff throughout the entire movie. So, yep, pretty enjoyable. There was one joke in there that made me like, just like, I couldn't stop laughing from it, and I cannot remember it now off the top of my head. It had to do with, it was a play on like Native Americans and calling them Indians, where the smartphone refers to, they say something about Indians and the smartphone refers to like India people, but I can't remember the full joke. It was really funny though. But that's worth like checking out if you can find. Is it streaming anywhere? If you can come across Brittany Lost Her Phone, nope. It could be worth checking out. Then I saw Deadpool Wolverine. Deadpool Wolverine was awesome. Really enjoyed it. I would say it's my favorite of the Deadpool movies. Wolverine adds a lot. I will say I went into it really hesitant about Wolverine being in it. Like, are they going to undermine Logan? Because Logan was a fantastic send-off, and they didn't. They really respectfully respected Logan and did something original and new, and it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyable. Definitely recommend Deadpool and Wolverine. A lot of fun. Then we watched My Movie, Dow's The Story of Helen and Roger. This is my documentary. So far, the reception has been really good, except for one person. This person said, which they were a festival screener. No, I wanted to read their review. A portrait of a couple who owned a roller rink for 60 years, made but what I gather to be their grandchild. Agreed. Clearly a labor of love that this film brings both the good and the bad. That labor of love it goes deep into their history and all parts of their story over the years, generally relegated to its own small scope. It's always welcoming, but at times it feels like it overstays its welcome. The length of this film really limited my engagement at various points through the film. A deeply personal film, I think people would connect to it, but I wonder whether they would maintain that interest for the full runtime of the film. Gave it a 5 out of 10. But, whatever. I'm really happy and really respected. Right? I really, I'm really proud of this one. I'm excited to get it out for people to be able to watch it. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I'm not normally going to rate anything on my IMDb other than a 5 out of 10. I only rate it just so anyone following me on IMDb is like, hey, what's this? But I'd give this one a 10 out of 10. I think this is probably the best work I'm ever going to do. So, but we'll see. We'll see what the reception's like when it goes public. But, from friends and family and a few not friends and family that's seen it have really enjoyed it. So, then once saw Strange Darling, heard amazing things about this movie, and I was a little disappointed in it. I definitely want to watch it again. I gave it a 6 out of 10. My problem is, like, if the film wasn't so well edited, I mean, hey, they didn't pick it apart. At least there's that. Yeah, I will say, honestly, outside of, like, it being my film, I really don't feel like what they said really like justifies a 5 out of 10, but maybe they had like other reasons, or like that was just the vibe they got. But whatever. I think it's good. So I thought it was great. I was moved. I was teared up in parts. Well, thank you, Robbie. You're also a friend. So like you have like some small like pre-existing uh connection to the film. But at the end of the day, I made the film for my family and my grandparents. You know what I mean? And my grandparents and my family love it. So that's as far enough that I need to be like, yeah, I did a good job. You know what I mean? But yeah, Strange Darling was kind of cool. But like the editing is what like saves this movie. I really feel like this movie was like had a normal linear editing. This movie would just be a very bland I would say murder mystery, but I guess yeah, murder mystery. It'd be a pretty bland murder mystery. Yeah, it has some good cinematography, but I thought the score was really generic. The performances were good. Um but yeah, I mean, it's just like one of those ones where I think the editing kind of elevates it more than what it is, but I definitely want to watch it again. It was my connection to the place and me thinking about my mom, I think, and just sympathizing with grandparents. Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like my biggest concern about when I made it was, am I making a bubble movie? Does this movie only work within the bubble of our community and my family? And I don't know if I really care if it is a bubble movie. Like, I know people in our area who have seen it, who went to our private showing, really enjoyed it because the private showing was pretty much only open to friends and family. Um, we had a few outliers that we invited to come out to get like different perspectives of the film. Like, there's a couple people Dylan knew that we invited out. Just like a couple people like that here and there that we that somebody asked if they could bring or knew somebody I was interested in. We're like, yeah, we'll invite you because like I want to know like your opinion of it. Speaking of which, Robbie, you didn't go back to the after party. I want you to, and I need Brandon too to do it. But I want you guys. I have a 27 by 40 poster. Everybody who came back to the after party signed. So I need you to sign that at some point. Um, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, I don't know if I really care if it's just a movie that works really well in our area. I don't think it matters elsewhere. And I will say, for 2 hours and 10 minutes, it is a long movie, but there's nothing else I want to cut. I really feel, and I truly feel like if I cut more out of this movie, I lose something that I think is important for my grandparents. So I'm not cutting anymore. Moving on, Contraband. This was a 31 for 31. Midnight Swim, Stalker, all 31 for 31s. Oh, as easy as closing your eyes. There it is. This popped up, I think, on Letterbox later, is how I found it. But yeah, Stalker, Midnight Swim, Contraband, all 31 for 31. So I'll talk about them there. Good, really good. Oh, absolutely. Sorry I had to leave right after I need to pick up my boy, but yeah, totally, bro. I wanted to sign that. Yeah, no problems. Like, yeah, I knew you had to go pick him up, but I'm just saying, like, at some point we'll have to get you over and get you to sign it. The Fall Guy, did I give it a 5 or 5.5? Because there is some good stunt work in this. I gave it a 5 out of 10. There's some good stunt work in this, and Ryan Gosling is good, and he's good to look at. You know what I mean? But the overall like bulk of this movie is just really boring. It's very bland. It's very cookie cutter. Very very predictable. And I felt like it just needed more impact. It needed some more like juice to the action. The comedy fell flat like every time for me. There was rarely any moments that made me laugh. And then when the film like tries to make you invest in its mystery, but there's like zero mystery to it, yeah, it kind of falls apart. Not my favorite. Zen is available on YouTube. It's directed by Dylan England, so it was another Dylan England short film. This one, god damn, I keep getting like this like dry spot in the back of my throat. I definitely think Zen is one of his best shot. It's a gorgeous looking film. Like you can definitely tell that him and Kevin Miner, his cinematography, are getting better and better with like each production they do. It has some really cool, trippy visuals, a great editing style. I really love the ending of this film. I've already talked to Dylan about this movie, but definitely check it out on YouTube. All right, moving on. Uh, a rewatch was Brawl in Cell Block 99. This is a movie my wife's wanted to see for some time. I remember the first time watching this being like, holy shit, this movie's awesome. I did not like it as much the second time around, but I still think it's good. I still think this is a good movie. I just dropped my rating down. I think I originally had it like an 8, 8.5, and I dropped it down to a 7. And I feel very confident in my 7, and I would watch it again. I just think the film has some major pacing problems. Like I said here, this could have been a better 80-minute film, and I still agree with that because there's just so many chunks of this movie. It's like, holy fuck, like, come on. Like, we're not really adding anything. We're kind of like meandering. It's ultra violent and very intense, but like the prison part, I remember like telling my wife, it was like more than halfway through the movie before he even ends up in prison. You're like, holy shit, this first chunk of this movie is so long. But yeah, Vince Vaughn gives a super, super serious performance, and he's awesome. You can watch this one on AMC Plus, Hoopla, Mubi, Netflix, Plex, and Pluto, and Hulu. So, I mean, it's basically available everywhere. Yeah, really definitely recommend checking this one out. Really enjoyed it. YMS, Your Movie Sucks, gave it a 3 out of 10. I don't agree with that, but he also didn't like Bone Tomahawk or any other S. Craig Zoller movies. But yeah, definitely Brawl and Cell Block 99 is cool. Dementia 13, Star Crash, both movies for 3131. Dementia 13 being Francis Ford Coppola, that I thought was terrible. Star Crash, to me personally, is a so bad it's good movie. Then we watched Humane. This is from the daughter of David Cronenberg. What's her name? Caitlin Cronenberg. So both of David Cronenberg's kids are making movies, and again, the apple does not far from the tree because this has David Cronenberg's like style written all over it. Although definitely not as strong of a director as her brother, Brandon Cronenberg. Is it Brandon or Brendan Cronenberg? But anyway, really cool setup. Basically, people have to they don't have to, but they can sign up to be humaned or what's the term I'm looking for? Euthanized. They can sign up to be euthanized because the population is overpopulated. So the world needs to give out 20% of their population. And the US is like, hey man, if you sign up for this, we'll give your family a bunch of money, yada yada yada. But basically this is set up when a father and his wife decides to enlist, and they're like wealthy people, and they invite their kids over. One of their kids being played by Jay Baruchel, or Hiccup. But overall, like, there was some cool ideas, some cool moments for sure. There's like a lot of good talking points about like classism and like media portrayals, environmental protection, family life, yada yada yada. There's a lot here, but there's not a lot to chew on. Like, it presents a lot of these themes, but it presents them very shallow. So there's not like a lot to like dive into and really dig into. And then on top of that is you get some really fun moments that's also mixed with some really kind of like moments, and it's kind of predictable. But also, like, the cinematography is terrible. It's so blandly shot with like really just like kind of ugly lighting throughout the whole thing. And I'm glad I watched it at least once, but I probably wouldn't watch it again. Uh, when the susurrus stirs. I thought this had a different name. I thought this had a different name. Didn't it? Yeah, the Blu-ray's all the way up here. I'll look at it later. But anyway, so when the susurrus stirs, I don't know. The Bloody Ballad of Squirt Reynolds and Every Time We Meet for Ice Cream, Your Whole Fucking Face Explodes are 3 short films by the guys who did Frogman, and they're also available on the Frogman release. Personally, for me, when the susurrus stirs, I swear it has a different name. Goddamn, I gotta look. Hold on. I swear it had a different name. No, it didn't. Weird. I thought it did. Anyway, they're all short films that the guy did Frogman. The Bloody Ballad of Squirt Reynolds was kind of boring. When the Susurrus Stirs had some really gross and cool practical effects. Every time we meet for ice cream, your whole fucking face explodes is an awesome short film. It is really fun. It's basically about this girl who every time she gets excited, her face literally explodes. And she meets this boy who has a crush on her, and they go out for ice cream. And guess what happens? um, I didn't realize Carlton Mellick worked on from award-winning Bizarro author Carlton Mellick. Is it based on a book of his? I'm a big fan of like Bizarro, and I would like to read more than what I have. And Carlton Mellick the third is a big Bizarro author. Okay, well I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. But they did Frogman. The Frogman. Frogman is a really cool found footage movie. I give it a 6 out of 10. I definitely would want to watch it again. It could go up on a second watch. But the thing I really liked about it was the ending. The ending of this movie is fucking insane for all the best reasons. But basically, it is about a kid who tapes Frogman, a legendary cryptid in Loveland, Ohio. And years later, nobody believes he actually saw the Frogman. So, of course, he's like, bitch, I saw the Frogman. So he wants to go find the Frogman again, and that's the entire movie. He makes a documentary going out to find the Frogman. The thing that didn't work for me is there's a lot of moments like with like side characters, really mainly between the first two, the main two, that just didn't work for me very, very well. There are some moments where the film kind of breaks its own rules of being a found footage movie that kind of drives me a little bit bonkers personally. But outside of that, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's a pretty quick watch, and the ending is super awesome. So the Frogman, the Piper, and Mother are both part of 31 for 31. But we watched The Watchers. This is a film by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, Ishana Night Shyamalan, and it was very M. Night Shyamalan-y. If you've seen an M. Night Shyamalan movie, you have basically seen The Watchers. You know, it follows the same kind of path. We're going to set up a kind of weird predicament that our main character's in that can lead to a big plot twist at the end of the movie. The thing that I liked about the movie is for one, it did leave me kind of going, you know, what I'm kind of interested in like what this plot ends up developing into. I mean, it's really predictable plot twist, but like, you know, kind of like the core of like what's going on in the film, I thought was pretty interesting. But Dakota Fanning does a decent job in the lead, but there's also just like pretty much like everything M. Night like trademarks are also in this movie. It didn't feel like, for one, it didn't feel like original. Like, so the baby Cronenbergs are very reminiscent of their dad, David Cronenberg, but they have their own directorial style that kind of stands out. I mean, Brendan, I don't remember it, I have to look it up, is super duper close to his daddy. But there is enough of a difference to separate the two. This could have just said M. Night Shyamalan, and I would have been like, yeah, it makes sense. It looks like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It moves like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It doesn't have much of an original voice. There's a really bad mirror shot toward the beginning of the film that I thought was really funny. I remember like when we was watching it, scrolling back a couple times to see that shot. But CGI looks bad. The color grade of the film, just super yellowy, like look to it, just didn't look great. Yeah, not great. 5 out of 10. Not horrendous. I didn't absolutely hate my time watching it. Bottle Rocket, both Bottle Rocket, the short film, the feature film, along with Chaplin, are all movies for 31 for 31. The Substance was super cool. I'm very excited to watch this again. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, but I feel like a second watch is probably going to be bumped up to a 9 out of 10, honestly. The movie was really cool, very, very weird. I like my comparison here. If Requiem for a Dream, Frankenstein, Videodrome, and Eraserhead melted together after taking the substance is what we got. And I completely still agree with that statement. Really cool, great visuals, great special effects, great performances, great score. I've been listening to the score at work. Yeah, just really awesome movie that I'm very excited to see again, and it probably will be bumped up to 9 out of 10 on a second viewing. Hellhole is the newest Addams Family movie. Um, I really like the Addams Family. Their movies are typically pretty interesting and pretty cool. Hellhole was my least favorite. This is kind of just The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. They're basically just doing that here, and not doing it very well, unfortunately. The dialogue is horrendous. I hate the humor that's in this movie. The humor they try to pull in the dialogue. I'm just not a fan of it. So yeah, overall, pretty disappointed in this one. It's 4 out of 10. I will say too, if you ever want to be updated on anything I watch, just follow me on Letterboxd. It all goes there. It all goes to Letterboxd. Shit, I got so much more to go through. The Wild Robot, another one of my favorite movies of the year. This movie was beautiful, had me tearing up like a baby. The animation is absolutely stunning. It is basically this robot, this AI robot gets crash landed in this planet, starts roboting around, starts building its AI, and it eventually befriends a little duck who I'm not going to spoil very much of it, and a fox. And it is super cute. A lot of great slapstick. It's very whimsical, very heartwarming, and then also is very heart touching. You really connect with these characters, and they put them in certain situations that feel okay. Come on, YMS, you gave it a 5 out of 10. Come on, dude. Yeah, I really enjoyed The Wild Robot. I thought it was fantastic. I'm excited to see it again. Then we watched Oddity. This one's available on Shudder. This was a movie I heard a ton about. It's by the director of Caveat. Personally, I didn't care too much for Caveat, but I did like Oddity quite a bit. Had some good creepy moments, a good mystery. I personally really love the ending, but I just don't have a lot to say about it. I mean, it's just a really solid movie that I enjoyed. That I genuinely just don't have a lot to say about it. I would watch it again. It's on my short list. I believe it should be anyway, right? Yeah, it's on my short list for the best films of 2024. So I'll definitely be watching it again. Azrael. This is a movie. Holy fuck! This movie blew me away. So for whatever reason, one of my local theaters got this movie for 1 week for one late night showing. That's it. So I decided that I was on the fence too. Like, Sunday night, do I really want to go see this movie or do I just want to stay home? I decided to, you know what, I'm going to go see the movie. And I left such a high. I left so energetic and just energized because this movie blew me away. This is a film directed by E.L. Katz, the director of Cheap Thrills, which I really enjoyed. I thought was pretty fun. But this movie follows Azrael, played by Samara Weaving, who is becoming one of my favorite actresses, period. I also feel like I'm getting blown out here. I might have to turn the ISO down a little bit. I'll do that later. I thought it was set to automatic, isn't it? I don't know. But anyway, she's become one of my favorite actresses, but it's set after the biblical apocalypse. There are these monsters roaming the earth, and there's pretty much zero dialogue in the entire movie because the characters that evolve around our movie cannot speak. So there is just nothing but primal, raw energy throughout this entire movie, and it is nonstop. This is a movie that I haven't felt this way about a horror movie in a long time, where I actually felt nervous and I actually felt like worked up and like anxious when when these when these moments on screen were happen, I was into this movie, and it made me a nervous wreck through the entire movie, and I love it for that. I cannot wait to see this again. It is on Shudder, but I am going to be getting the Blu-ray because as much as I want this, because my wife didn't go with me, as much as I want her to see this movie, I want to watch it in her home theater and just not on TV, like with Shudder bitrate and stuff. I want to watch it on like Blu-ray or 4K. Well, probably Blu-ray if it's going to be down in our home theater. We can't play 4K yet. But if you want to watch it, it is available on Shudder, and I super recommend Azrael. It's one of my favorite movies of 2024. Moving on, we got Stopping the Steal. This is a documentary on Max. This is about Donald Trump trying to steal the election in 2020. I don't care where you align politically. I don't care if you support Trump. I don't care if you support Kamala. I don't care if you support nobody. I do not care. However, I will say this. January 6th and leading into that is something that I have spent a lot of time reading about, listening about, and everything. I've listened and done a lot of like my own like research into it because like I said, don't care who you support or how you support them. This is January 6th, I think, is a historically dangerous moment for our country. And I watched this documentary, and I think this documentary does a fantastic job at just presenting the facts. Now, I will say this documentary, as a documentary experience, is very bland. It's very generic. It feels very much like a TV documentary. It's not really like anything like that great that you wouldn't find out of like, you know, any other source other than it actually interviews like White House officials and election officials. But otherwise, it's a really good, like, just presenting a lot of the facts. So if you want to know more about January 6th, Donald Trump's like electorate plot, things like that, this would be a good one to watch. MPD Psycho, Batman vs. Robin, Sailor Suit Machine Gun, all 31 for 31s. Terrifier 3, baby. Terrifier 3 was my least favorite, I think, of the three Terrifier movies. Funny enough, I don't know. I might like it better than the first one. But I'm a huge Terrifier fan. I love Art the Clown. I love the Terrifier series. I love everything the Terrifier series stands for. And while I don't think I've given any of the films higher than a 7 out of 10, which, by the way, I don't know if this is on here. Okay, it is. With that being said, I still love these movies. I do think these movies all have like some issues for sure, but I'm still a huge fan of the Terrifier franchise. So even if I'm giving them like Terrifier 3 a 6 out of 10, I really enjoyed this and had a lot of fun with it. So that 6 out of 10 is a really strong 6 out of 10. I just think the film had some issues. But overall, really enjoyed Terrifier 3. Glad I got to see this in theaters. That was really sick. So yeah, Terrifier 3 is awesome. Definitely check it out. Britt Marie was here. Fando Elise, the Hodorowski Constellation, Geostorm, Firestarter, the Minority Report, The Tribe, all part of 31 for 31, so that's where they'll be at. All Hallows Eve, this is where Terrifier started, and it was not great. So basically, if you don't know the history of Terrifier, Terrifier is started off as two short films, the like Ninth Circle and Terrifier itself. This film is an anthology that takes the Ninth Circle, adds in a horrendous middle piece, Terrifier, which is the best of the short films, and then a horrendous overarching structure to tie them all together. And well, I definitely think there's like some good ideas presented here. For the most part, I just thought it was really boring. I couldn't wait for this to end up, and the only part of the film I really cared anything about was when we got into the actual Terrifier segment. For me personally, I'm not gonna buy this one. I wouldn't care to watch it again. I think I'd rather just watch Terrifier 1 again over this. But yeah, I give it a 3 out of 10. Border, Sailor Suit and Machine Gun a second time. Dragon Slayer, Candyman, Candyman 2, Candyman 3, New York, New York, Dogville, Clash Titans, High and Low, The Beastmaster. So this is all November stuff, so I'm going to leave these alone, but that was all 31 for 31. So my November stuff I will talk about next month at some point, or maybe in January. But for right now, that is all the movie reviews caught up. Like I said, anything for 31 for 31, there's going to be an individual video coming out next month. So you can just check those out if you want to. But if you want to follow me for movie reviews, follow me on Letterboxd. It's just LR Smith on Letterboxd, or LR Smith 77 maybe. Regardless, just follow me on Letterboxd. This will keep you updated on everything I watch in real time. So, boom.